We won't take it too personally that we know where you'd prefer to be, Dan.
Yes, sorry.
I took it personally, but it's not a problem.
Really interesting couple of teams that Phil Neville has picked here. Let's start with the home team then, a 4-2-3-1 formation, blend of youth and experience for both. Great to see Izzy Christensen back in the England fold, partnering Jordan Nobbs in midfield, and a pretty frightening front line for the home side. Fran Kirby, Beth Mead, Ellen White is the captain, and the youngster Alessia Russo, who's just signed for Manchester United.
Yeah, you can use that.
So that's the starting 11 for the home team. And the away team with a different system, a 3-4-3, so we'll see how that affects things. The experience coming in the back line, the two Manchester City midfielders at the heart of things, Jill Scott and Kira Walsh, and Beth England leading the line, flanked by Rachel Daly and Georgia Stanway. It'll be interesting, I think, to see perhaps Alex Greenwood as part of a back three, Karen.
I think it really suits her. She's got a wand of a left foot. I think she's played at the left of a back three for Lyon when she's played for them this season, and I felt it's probably been. I probably prefer her there more as a fullback. Actually, I think she's naturally got that. She can play into feet because she's crisp at playing on the floor. She can play down the sides. I think the 3-4-3, you have to have all elements. You know, down the side, through the middle, and over the top. And she's got those balls in a locker with that wand of a left foot. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing her. I think the combination of herself, Steph Horton, and Millie Bright is a pretty formidable back three in essence. And you've got two young players in Chloe Kelly and Neve Charles who are going to offer you the width and pace as your wing back. So I'm actually really excited to see this new formation that pretty much we haven't seen England perform for probably, I think 2017 was the last time they played this formation. So I'm looking forward to it.
Either of you want to nail your colours to the mast? Who's going to win?
I'm going home team. I'm going with the Whites. I think the creativity with Jordan and Izzy and Fran, I think linking up with Ellen up top, I just think that's gonna tip it for me.
I'll go with the red team, the away team.
Yes.
I think it was funny we actually both picked that anyway, but I think the front three of the red team, aggressive, front-footed, and I like the midfield, and like I said, the back three, very solid and very experienced.
So just about set for the action, but the players will take a knee before kick-off to show their continued support for the Black Lives Matter movement. And so Helen Connolly, the referee, gets us underway immediately.
I told you.
Welcome back to the England fold, Fran Kirby. Yeah, you called it, Dan, straight away. This isn't a friendly, is it? How competitive can these sorts of games get, you two?
Oh, very competitive. I mean, even in training, things get competitive. Just due to the level that everyone plays at in the WSL, it's very competitive. As much as people are your friends and whatnot. I mean, now they're wearing two different colour shirts, but you're playing against these players. There's no friends in football on the field. As you can just see again.
I think Phil might quite like this, though. This is what he wanted, wasn't it, Karen?
I'm sure, yeah. He spoke about the Qatar one. I actually played in the 11v11 in Qatar, and it was really fierce and aggressive, and it's kind of egos are on the line as well. You know, you want the bragging rights, you want to go in, you want to perform well, but and also it's a bit of young versus old. The young players come in and the old players want to prove a point, and vice versa. And you know, it's a competitive squad now. No places are, you know, are a given, and it's a great opportunity for people to express themselves in front of the manager.
One of the veteran players, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, Demi Stokes down the line. Pristine pitch at St George's Park. It is really quite some facility. A reminder, we want to get your BT player of the match. We'll be asking Karen and Danielle to nominate 4 players towards the end of the match, and then you can vote on Twitter at Lionesses. And a chance for the cross here. with Russo. Oh, and that's a miss. Big chance. Lifted over the bar by Beth Mead.
Do not actually be disappointed with that. That was great play down the left-hand side. Started with Demi and then a nice ball in from Russo, and yeah, to Beth's standards, as like we saw her do in the last WSL game, she should really be finishing that one off.
We're being a bit kind, Karen, perhaps slightly behind her, but
I'm
great
sure
record.
she has got a great record, but I agree with Dan. I think the levels that she's at, she should be finishing those. And you know, if England want to win major tournaments and Beth wants that wing spot, you know, she's got to be finishing those. But it was a really nice flick round the corner from Jordan Nobbs to actually start the play up. So it's exciting for her in that attacking role where she gets the freedom to express herself.
Jill Scott pulled up for a foul this time. Seems that Jill Scott is, I don't want to say winding down, but she signed a new 2-year deal, didn't she, with a player coach role. Had a bit of an unfortunate time in the Community Shield with the sending off, and she hasn't started the first 2 WSL games. But I still expect her to play a big part. Would that be fair to say, Dan?
You'd think so. She's got so much experience. But yeah, obviously, in terms of her signing that new deal with City, obviously she might have one eye on what's to come after her playing career. But yeah, obviously the experience that she has, and obviously she was around when Kaz was playing, and the likes of Farrah Williams. Got to call her full title, Farrah Williams MBE. But yeah, no, in terms of the experience, sorry, I forgot Karen Carney MBE as well. She's obviously sitting there telling me. But yeah, no, in terms of the experience that all of those players that I've just mentioned come with, it's invaluable. Whether they're on the pitch or off the pitch, you know, it's great to have around.
Jill Scott, someone you've played with for years, Karen. Can you see her slotting into a coaching role eventually?
I don't like that where people kind of write her off. I know I had it as a senior player as well. When you come to the age of over 30 and people kind of write you off. Jill's got plenty of time. I think it's a mentality thing when people start to think about your coaching role. I know she's taken it, but she could play on for as long as she wanted because she's smart, she's intelligent, she's fit, and she's got a good work ethic. So I think she could keep going as long as she wants, and if she goes into that coaching role, it should be down to her when. I'm not a fan of when people start to not write other players off, but I think age is just a number, and I think people can express themselves for a lot longer.
Yeah, and I think that age is just a number is also, it works the same for the younger girls as well. So the likes of Hannah Hampton, for example, you can class as their first cap almost. But that's just one of many that are in this team. It's just a case of if you're good enough, regardless of age, I believe you should have that opportunity and you'll get your chance, hopefully.
Well, hopefully some of these youngsters can impress Phil Neville. Lots of really big competitions coming up, of course. The postponed Olympics, home Euros, then the World Cup in Australia. Lots of exciting things to look forward to. And you're absolutely right, Karen. It's especially when it comes to Jill Scott. She still looks one of the fittest players in any game, and big contribution once again at the World Cup just last summer. Beth England. I think she was trying to slip that through to Georgia Stanway, but not quite on the same wavelength. Here's Walsh, and now Millie Bright. Now Rachel Daly playing in a more advanced role this evening. And there's a complaint by Niamh Charles, playing at right wing back. Was she asking for a penalty there? Corner is the only thing she's going to get.
I think she was asking for a pen. It did in first looks look like she got clipped on the back, but I might need to see that back again.
Let's have a look then. No.
No.
So corner kick to the Reds, the away side. Driven low, didn't get past Demi Stokes, but they'll have another chance here. That's well defended by Izzy Christensen. Had a great start with her new club, Karen, hasn't she? Izzy Christensen in Everton overall, actually, 2 wins out of 2.
Yeah, look, she's a quality player. I think she's just been unlucky with her injuries, but she's experienced. She's not a young player anymore. She knows the game. She's tricky, reads it really well.
Red team trying to put on the pressure. Another corner kick. Run by Georgia Stanway. Scored both the goals in the opening weekend against Aston Villa for Manchester City. Lofted in and well held by Sandy McKeever, the uncapped goalkeeper. Plays for Everton after a spell in America. Like a lot of these youngsters, actually, come back from scholarships all over the United States and have found themselves Women's Super League clubs. What is it like coming into these sort of situations as a newcomer, Karen?
Well, I actually, my very first ever camp was, I think Rachel Yankee was pulled out and I got called in and we did an in-house 11v11. I think that was then I stayed in the squad and didn't come back out. So it can be daunting as a young player going in, but I think going in and getting a game under your belt is actually really exciting and really worthwhile, and that's why I know how important these 11v11 in-house games are. Some people think, what does it matter, you're playing against each other? But it is a massive opportunity for young players, for any player who has been out of squad through injury or a senior player trying to cement that spot again. It's a massive opportunity to get yourself on that starting 11 for England, especially with COVID and the players have not been seen for 6 months. So, and big tournaments coming up, you want to be a part of it. So you need to play well in these, and it shows a lot about your character and your mentality.
It's a lovely play from Charles. Finds Rachel Daly. And the header was won by Kira Walsh, but not directed to where she wanted to be. The away team, though, still going. And they've given it away to Ellen White, star for England at the World Cup, 6 in 6. Oh, and Hannah Hampton taking a chance. Will she be punished? No. A slip at the vital moment for Ellen White. Dan, can you remember your first camp, what it was like walking through the doors for the first time of the senior England team?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. But yeah, obviously, when you get that call up and you're going to be going away with a senior team, that's something you've worked for your whole career, basically, your whole youth career. But yeah, no, I was welcomed. I can't remember if Kaz was on my first senior camp or not, but no, all the girls that were there, you know, they welcome you with open arms. You know the standard you've got to bring. So if you bring that and you do your job, then they are going to be there, support you and push you through.
Your debut wasn't bad either, was it?
It's definitely one that I will remember, and hopefully I can get some more caps to my name.
Well, it's great to see you back. I think everyone can agree with that. Here's Stanway.
I'm really enjoying the build-up of the red team. You know, playing out from the back, they look like control, they're dominating it. Just want to see maybe the forwards get involved a little bit more. I think the final third, it's probably not clicking for them, but in terms of the back three and getting the wide players in, it's actually quite nice to watch them play.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And obviously this new formation as well, it's going to be news to the girls and probably difficult for the home team to actually defend against. So it's causing problems, as you can see.
I'm not sure why he has a mask on, to be honest, and he has to bring it down every time he has to shout at them. Here's Kirby. That's a lovely ball. Chance here. Oh, and a great challenge. Charles snapping back in before Alessia Russo could get the shot away. Could she have taken it a bit early, perhaps?
Do you know, it was a good run from Alessia Russo. I think her touch just there, you see it showed too much of it to Niamh Charles. But she made the run. It was a good ball from Fran. I think if she took that more towards her left-hand side, she would have had a clean shot at goal.
Definite little push from Charles on Russo. Two of the members of the under-20s England squad, the one bronze at the World Cup in 2018 in France. There's quite a few of those who have been called up for this camp to try and impress Phil Neville. That's a great ball from Demi Stokes, and the chip is attempted, and thought there was going to be a situation where two of the red team are going to headbutt each other. Thankfully, just avoided. Home team have boxed the red team in. Just not enough purchase on that header from Ellen White. Nice little spell for the home team now. Again, it's Russo with another chance. It's a good battle between those two, isn't it? Russo and Charles Karen.
Yeah, it is. I think what Russo's doing is she's working out now that there's a gap in between the full-back and the centre-halves, and she's running into that space, and you saw that ball from Fran Kirby just sliding through. That's where the spaces are, down the sides of the centre-halves, and when you play with the back three, it takes a little bit of time and adapting. So, you know, it's a new formation. You're going to expect, you know, some issues, and that's where they need to work on if they want to move forward. But certainly the white team are exploiting down those areas at the moment.
As you mentioned, it's a fairly new system, isn't it? And it's good to be able to adapt and play lots of different ways, particularly in-game, I guess.
I think as well that, you know, there's not many women's teams, I don't think, that played this system, the 3-4-3.
England's cross. Esme Morgan does just enough. No, you're right, actually. I can't really think of many who play it regularly anyway.
Look, there's, I think, what the staff have looked at, there's trends, you know, in men's football and the tournaments that they've looked at in the women's games, that they kind of do come over into the women's side, and I think they're trying to get ahead of the curve using this new formation.
That's good play from the skipper, Steph Horton, stepping out, winning the ball. Beth England crowded out. Rachel Daly, back in the UK on loan at West Ham United. Scott's cross, charged down by Demi Stokes. Thank you to those who are watching. Remember, in addition to this game, you can watch all 132 Barclays FA Women's Super League games live on the FA Player throughout this season. There's already been some crackers after the first 2 rounds of fixtures. Here is Jordan Nobbs. The goalkeeper gets there just ahead of her. Dan, we should ask you about Jordan. Obviously, so disappointed that she missed the World Cup, and you will know from your vast experience, so hard to come back from that sort of injury. Do you feel like she's getting there, slowly getting to the Jordan we used to have? Oh, it's lovely goal. Ellen White still pulling out the celebration even in a training game. Slide rule pass from Fran Kirby. Excellent goal, Dan.
Yeah, do you know what? I would actually say it's been coming. We saw earlier Fran slip the ball into Russo. Obviously, she had a couple of touches, but this one there, classic Ellen White. First time hit, let it run across her, let it run in front. And yeah, you know, as we've seen in the World Cup, she has and is quite clinical.
Karen, your red team behind.
Yeah, I think you saw there where, talking about the back 3 issues again, I think Alex Greenwood was slightly wide, and Ellen then was just peeled down the side into that gap, and it's a beautiful through ball from Fran Kirby, and like Dan said, that's where Fran's getting a joy. He's picking up the ball, driving and sliding down the sides of the centre-backs, and that's what happened there, and it was a clinical finish from Ellen. But when you play with a back 3, it takes a lot of time and practice. I think the best example is probably Wolves in the Premier League, how much time and how well drilled they are. And you know, this is, like I said, this is a new system for England, so it will take a lot of time. And I think those girls that are playing there, only Alex is used to playing that formation. Millie, Bright and Steph Horton play in a back 4 for their respective clubs, so it will take time for them to embed in this new system.
Daly. A bit of an awkward one and a few claims for a handball off Esme Morgan. Apparently Phil Neville went straight to that screen to re-watch that goal. Guess just to see, as you mentioned, Karen, maybe how it could have been prevented, perhaps, or what could have been done better.
Yeah, that was the analysis team that he's got there straight away. You can look up and look at the clips and where did it come from and how did it happen, and that's the beauty of technology now. You can straight away assess that and make sure it doesn't happen moving forward.
Fran Kirby really getting into the game now. Here is Beth Mead, cleared by Steph Horton.
I think as well you've got to mention that Chloe Kelly is an attacking player. She's not necessarily a wing back, and maybe that's why Alex is having to overcover a little bit. Again, they're not used to that, and that's why down that side the white team are getting quite a lot of joy.
And after such a long time out, it looks like Fran Kirby is starting to really get back to her best.
Yeah, it's good to see. Obviously, everyone's aware of what she went through the last year or so. So yeah, it's good to see her back playing for Chelsea and back in an England shirt and showcasing what she can do, which we've seen in the first 20 minutes already.
We've seen her play a number of positions, haven't we? Do we think that sort of 10 role just behind the attacking midfield role is her best, or more central?
I think so. I think she's so creative and so good on the ball. The best place for her is just behind the striker, in my opinion. But I mean, she's got quality, so I mean, if you put her anywhere on the pitch, she'll probably cause trouble. But I personally believe that position behind the striker, she'll just create so many chances and opportunities, and is a dream to play in front of.
And someone you know very well, Karen.
Yeah, I think I liked Fran when she played in number 9, though, when she was using her pace to get in behind. I think she's a clinical finisher, and sometimes I really like her playing in the 10. She does those through balls, she can drive at people, but I like her when she's running off the back shoulder and being clinical in that final third. And sometimes when you're playing the 10, you're more the assister than the finisher, and that's why I miss sometimes seeing her play up top in that number 9.
Flag has got up against Rachel Daly. A reminder, it's going to be 35 minutes per half, so into the final 13 minutes or so. The home team leading thanks to an Ellen White goal. Here is Nobbs. Charles nicking it off Demi Stokes. Now here's Jill Scott. Neve Charles of Chelsea. Kelly of Greenwood. Chance for Kelly to put a cross in, which could go short to Stanway. And that's going to be another corner. Away team trying to conjure something up, but it doesn't come off this time. Happy with the red team response, Karen?
I think the red team are at their best when they get Neve Charles and Chloe Kelly forward. In this system, you have to get them a lot higher up the pitch, and you saw then when they get momentum, it's because they're up there in that final third. So they've got to keep encouraging them. They're both young, both unfamiliar positions, but you know, the senior players at the back, Millie, Steph, need to keep pushing them forward.
Here is Charles, who's seen a lot of the ball on the right-hand side.
She has, to be fair, and that battle we said with her and Russo early on in the first half, they've seen her with has seen a lot of the ball. This one, I'm not actually too sure how the ref's given it to the Reds, but
She clipped her heels.
oh, did she?
But look, it's a big opportunity now. You saw how many tournaments, how key set plays are. Massively important part of the game, so this is a big opportunity of the red team getting back into it.
Get these right, can get you through a tournament. It's Kelly. It's not the greatest. Well held by McKeever. Demi Stokes encouraged to drive forward. It's another really good ball, good movement around the corner, but the flag is up. And here's Jordan just saying there, a little bit earlier perhaps.
Yeah, it looked like she was wanting the ball played earlier, and then if it didn't come, she didn't want it at all. She was just trying to make a run in behind to create space, but just wasn't on the same page as Demi.
Rachel Daly trying to wriggle away from Demi Stokes, and she does so. Under quite a lot of pressure there. Should talk about this new goalkeeper role and what's required, shouldn't we? Because you can see there, Hannah Hampton. She does it for her club side, Birmingham, taking those risks, but it's clearly asked to do so. Could be a chance for the red team, and a claim for a penalty. Let's have a look, shall we? Georgia Stanway this time.
That looks soft to me.
Here's Charles. Now Beth England. Scott. Charles's cross. No nonsense from Abby McManus.
She's been doing well, Charles, down this right-hand side, causing problems, and especially when Jill Scott goes over there, Rach Daly, they kind of overload that right-hand side. Just probably want more balance, and want that from Chloe Kelly on the left-hand side, because again, this formation, you really need your wide players to get high up the pitch and get involved.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Charles has had a lot of possession of the ball, and she's shown some qualities as well at times. I think this would be a very good opportunity for her in this game, and being away with the senior team. Obviously, she's gone into the Chelsea team where she's probably obviously the small fish there, and obviously she's been a big fish with the under 20 on the 20. So I think this is a massive challenge for her, and so far I actually think she's doing really well.
Daly, she managed to keep that in. She has just about. Beth England, not far away. Fell nicely for her. Bit of a snapshot.
Yeah, it was a snapshot. That's definitely been their best opportunity. And I mean, not to be critical, but Beth is obviously a top quality player, and she probably expects to score that herself.
Look, it's a great delivery from the wide areas, and then they've kept it alive in the second phase. It just comes to Beth on her left foot, and even though it's on her weaker foot, you do expect more from her if that's a semi-final of a World Cup. You know, everyone's got their head in their hands, so she keeps pushing, keep working hard, and Beth knows where the goal is. She'll get the next one.
Yeah, definitely. If anything, those are the ones where if you miss-hit it, they would actually go in. She actually hit it really, really cleanly.
What a rise it's been for Beth England. She's still very, very early on in her England career, isn't she? 7 caps, 2 goals. Still a lot more to come from her. It's Esme Morgan of Manchester City. Fran Kirby assess her options. Find Nobbs. Intricate play, and here's Nobbs. That's a decent stop by Hampton.
Very good play down the right-hand side. We haven't seen much of the ball that side of the pitch, to be fair, for the Whites, but no, that was very intricate play with Nobbs and Fran Kirby, actually. And Christensen with a nice little ball round the corner to Nobbs to actually get the shot off.
They're your 3 technical players, aren't they? They need to play a little bit closer together and get those 1 and 2 touch passes because they're a threat.
Sends it in, oh, and it's spilled and put in by Ellen White for her second.
That's a poacher's finish. Obviously, Ellen was obviously alert to it, first to it. Unfortunately, Hammer Hampton's actually made an error there, but hopefully she can pick herself up and go again.
It was a good ball in, dangerous area, just lack of communication there, but Steph, I think, maybe heard the call, left it, and then Hannah Hampton just unfortunately didn't deal with it. But these are what these games are about, where young players come in. It's like an international game. She'll learn from it. You sometimes you have to learn when you make mistakes, and you learn the hard way, but you'd rather learn in a training game than in a top international game. So it's a perfect opportunity for her now, and a test of character. Can she pick herself up? As goalkeepers make mistakes, you have to bounce back.
That old adage, isn't it? It's a mistake by a goalkeeper usually equals a goal, and you can see Carly Telford in the background there. Still very much of this England setup. So 2-0 to the home team, who are playing in white, and Demi Stokes clears up. There's some risk taking there. I'm not sure McKeever wanted that pass, but she did just enough with it.
I think it's a good opportunity for both these keepers to get this experience. I know it's not a competitive game as such, they're not actually getting a cap for it, but it's still the same pressures, it's still the same. They've got to demand and they've got to be vocal and communicate throughout the game. So I think this is good for them to get through the game and to really learn from it.
3 minutes left. Here comes the corner. It's really well defended. Ellen White back there. Taken short, swung into the back post, and Horton can't direct it.
I think that's where the red team have probably got the advantage, the aerial presence. You've got Steph Horton there, Millie Bright, Jill Scott. I think if they get the delivery right, it gives them a great opportunity to get back into the game. I think they've got more presence, attacking crosses than the white team.
Yeah, definitely. And as we mentioned earlier about set plays, those can win and lose you games. So if the Reds can actually get their delivery on point into the players that you've just mentioned, I think obviously they can turn the game around.
It's the effort by Millie Vice Izzy Christensen, I should say, who scored the winner against Spurs for Everton in the previous Women's Super League game.
Again, though, you see Fran Kirby making those runs down the sides, and that's where the threat is. You know, the white team are causing problems, and Fran's been really key in that.
You can see both sides are trying different things with these corners, taking them short, trying to be a bit more creative. Jill Scott with the defensive header. And now Niamh Charles can bring the ball away for the red team. Still haven't found an end product, the end team, the red team I should say. Some good build-up play. I think actually defensively the white team, Dan, have been very good, haven't they? When there has been a bit of a danger.
Yeah, I would say so. They just look a bit more robust, I would say. Obviously the red team are playing with 3 at the back, so like you say, it's difficult for them to. They've never done it before, so there's a new formation. Difficult for them to get their distances right, and the white team, to me, they just look a bit more solid at the back.
Just less than 30 seconds left of normal time. I'm not sure if the referee's going to add on any stoppages, but I can see from Karen and Dan's booth that Karen is furiously writing down lots of notes as if she's going to give the half-time instructions.
No,
or is that a shopping list?
No. It's just, again, it's a good opportunity personally to learn and to see 2 different styles, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, so I'm writing down what I see.
Such a pro, isn't she?
She is. So that is half-time, and a 2-0 advantage for the home side. Both of the goals scored by Ellen White of Manchester City and, of course, of that wonderful tournament at the World Cup for England. And make sure you do stay with us. We've got lots to come at half-time. But before we break off for that, let's get the thoughts of our 2 expert pundits. First of all, Dan Carter, you nailed your colours to the mast. You said you like the look of this home team, and they're doing the business for you so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a game of 2 halves, and nothing is written off yet. But no, I mentioned earlier the creativity of Jordan, Izzy, Fran and Ellen, and they must have heard me, because I think they've pulled through, and we've seen glimpses of that.
And Karen, I think we might see some changes actually for both sides after the break into the second half. But there's been some promising signs, isn't there, for the red team, who actually, as you keep mentioning, to be fair, are playing a system they're not very familiar with.
Yeah, there has. I think Niamh Charles has done well down his right-hand side. I just think they probably need that little bit more of connection in the final third, and there's still a bit of unfamiliarity in the back 3, and again, that's just because of a system change. But you know, mistakes have perhaps cost the red team, but you know, as Dan says, there'll be some changes made, and this is where you learn, this is where you grow, and Phil will learn a lot about this system and his players as well from that first half.
So Dan and Karen have given their half-time analysis. We'll have much more from them throughout the second half here on the FA Player, and we'll also be asking them to nominate 4 candidates for you to vote for your BT Player of the Match, voting on the @Lionesses Twitter account. Now, before we take you behind the scenes of what the Lionesses have been up to during this training camp, here's a reminder of how you can keep across all of the action from the Women's Super League and England with the FA Player.
Once in a lifetime goal.
I'm Tash Harden, and this is me.
When the ball is at her feet, there is only one outcome.
Into the player's entrance, we'll do another little questionnaire. Very brief. I wish you could see me smiling. Alright. I'm smiling as if you can see me smiling. Oh. You okay? I'm here, made it.
Just leading with right leg, so if you put your arms over it, just challenge your trunk a little bit more. Oh my god, I can't get one from the side, yeah? One more each side. Good, last one. Okay. Nice.
Just going to set them up, so get them set up and stuff, and then 4 minutes will go on my whistle, something like that. 2, 3, 4. Love it. Harry's in! Oh, yeah! 20. Stop.
That's one.
Oh, love it. 8, 9. Oh, 3, 4. Love it. 5. Love it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What in? Possession. Nice. 3, 4.
Good timing. Need to hear a little bit more of that. Just time.
Oh, yes. Good. Love it. Love it. Millie, nation. That's it. Finish. Well done, Millie.
Speed 14.5.
Nice. There we go. Nice hand. Good. Ready? Yes, oh, well done, and rotate. Yes, you. Good score. Score. Yes, Carly, well done. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, what a save.
Yes, you! Oh, love that.
Didn't gamble, well done. 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more, you get to defense. 13. Oh. Oh, great touch. Brilliant. Excellent. Well done. 15.
Yes, come on.
16. 17. 18. 19. Well, header to. Is that a volley or a half volley? Run. Brilliant game that. 3-2 Rihanna here to yellows. To Vezin. Are we all ready to play tomorrow? Yeah, what I want you to do now is make sure you get your rest in, you recover in the morning. Very good.
Go on, bye-bye. Steph, there's your exit.
Yes, George, that's much better, mate. Nope. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't miss. Good kick. Yep.
Thrives under pressure.
Great touch. Finish. Up.
Oh, that's nice.
Get in the box. Well
That
done.
was lovely.
Yeah, walk out.
Good idea. Yes,
Good
Carl.
start. Come on, goals. Spin. Great touch. Finish.
Oh, that moved so much.
Come on, now. Finish with a goal. Time into your runs. Quality is. Last rotation.
You've done well there, mate. I was behind you, wasn't it?
Oh, that's a once-in-a-lifetime goal.
I'm Tash Harding, and this is me.
When the ball is at her feet, there is only one outcome.
I used to think football wasn't for me. My daughter's changed all that. It takes a special team to make football happen. Every volunteer plays their part. I've learnt the skills to help the coaches and become part of my local club. Now I'll be here every weekend, just like these guys, giving it everything I've got.
Seen Danielle in action there for her new club, Reading. Good to see her back on the pitch, although today she's with us in the commentary box for this 11v11 England at St George's Park. And the white team, incidentally the team that Danielle predicted would win this one, are 2 goals up against the red team. And here are the goals from the first half, and both scored, Dan, by Ellen White. The first one assisted ably by Fran Kirby.
Yeah, like I said, classic Ellen. Doesn't need many touches, and then just slots it in past the keeper, makes it look really easy.
And the second one, bit of a lack of communication perhaps, but another classic really from Ellen White, isn't it?
Yeah, poacher's finish. Obviously, that's what you want your number 9 to be doing in and around the area for these slip-ups that the keeper could possibly do. You've got to be on the front foot at all times.
Still waiting for the 2 teams to come out for the second half. 35 minutes a half. It's a pretty good time to talk about a really good programme that the FA are running called the Wildcats programme, that gives a clear pathway to young girls looking to play football from a very early age. You can look up more on that on the FA website. But Karen Carney is also here with us. I know that's something that you know quite a lot about, this Wildcats programme.
Yeah, I got spotted myself through a similar scheme where I went to my local pitch and there was probably 12, 13 girls, played 6-a-side, and that's where I got found really. And for me, about the Wildcats, it's great for young girls because they're playing with girls, there's confidence, they're meeting new friends, they're learning about it. Sometimes if you go and play with the boys, it can be a little bit more intimidating. The boys might be a little bit more ahead in terms of development. So I think the Wildcat scheme's great, technical, fun. I think it's a brilliant initiative from the FA that I think they give money, balls, bibs, cones, and give the opportunity for people in the community to go and let young girls go and express themselves with friends. So, you know, these are our future England players potentially, or even if they don't get to England level, you know, hopefully they've had fun and learnt skills, and you know, more at the grassroots level is what's needed.
Because that's the thing, isn't it, Dan? Even if they don't get to play to a professional level, football can just give you so much from a very young age.
Definitely. Like Has said, that's how she got founded. So regardless of how far they actually get in their professional career, in terms of the relationships and the qualities and attributes they would actually build from playing with people like the same age, the same gender, they can grow in confidence on the pitch and then take that into whatever walk of life they go into.
A lot of youngsters who've been called up for this 30-player squad. A couple of withdrawals, we should say. There's Lucy Bronze, who got a bit of a knock for Manchester City, and also Katie Zellum, who had to withdraw after testing positive for COVID, and we wish both of them a speedy recovery. Izzy Christensen called up in their place. So both teams making their way out onto the field for the second half. And doesn't look like we're seeing any changes as of yet, but we do have a substitutes bench for both sides. And it looks like Phil Neville is giving a team talk to the red away team. Perhaps just because they are behind, Karen, that might be giving some words of wisdom.
Yeah, but if you look at the goals, there were mistakes from the red team. It's not like they've been outplayed in this system. They gave the first goal, they gave it away in the central area, turnover, a cheap turnover, and then that's where Fran was able to penetrate through with her pass because they were exploited being wide open. And then the second goal was just a lack of communication at the back and a little bit of a goalkeeping error. So it's not like the red team needs a lot of changes. It's just eradicate those mistakes and they could get back into the game.
Quick warm-ups ahead of the second half. It's been a really good watch, actually. Really competitive, just what Phil Neville wanted. Because it is difficult, isn't it? England don't have to play any of these qualifiers that, albeit, yes, they will be against inferior opposition, but they do mean something. And I think England have struggled with that a little bit, haven't they, with results recently. So I think it was you, Karen, who just mentioned beforehand that you'd much prefer to play in this sort of game than a European qualifier against with respect to sort of minnow.
I think as well, in the past, when you come off the back of a major tournament, so England got to the semi-final in 2019, and when you come off the back of that, you usually go into the qualification games and you play teams that you beat comfortably. Because England qualified, they haven't had those games, and they've challenged themselves and gone and played top opposition, and probably haven't got the results and been exposed in the media. But for me, it was never ever an issue, those results. I always thought, judge an England team at a tournament, you know, they've got to semi-finals now 3 times in a row. We've got to get to that final now at some point. So I think they're qualified, they're through. This is a really good period for Phil to test other players. Players can express themselves and try and get in that squad, because it is a really exciting time to be a Lioness or a potential Great Britain player as well.
And Dan, I guess that just gives all these players a little bit more time because of the Olympics being postponed and the Euros in turn as well.
Yeah, obviously it's good. It's good for the younger players, maybe not so good for the girls who are maybe coming towards the end of their international careers. But as we mentioned earlier, age is just a number. If the girls are still playing week in, week out with their clubs or whoever it may be, and they come into the England setup and they're still performing, then yeah, it's exciting times. And obviously whoever's going to be taking over will have their work cut out in trying to pick the best team.
It's not a bad headache to have, though, is it, to have all these players performing at the highest level? So we're just about ready for kickoff in the second half at St George's Park. First half was excellent, high in quality. Both goals for Ellen White for the England home team, who are playing in white, kicking from left to right. I think it's called the crushed berry, I think. We'll call them red, from right to left.
Red's easier for me.
Seen some of these kit launches recently, especially in the men's game, and they're just ridiculous, aren't they? I think the third kit for Manchester United, the zebra one, springs to mind immediately.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
That's the word.
If some can pull it off, some can't.
Beth Mead moving okay after that challenge, but she is a player who, if you watch week in, week out, she's fouled an awful lot, and this treatment has continued. And that looked like a bit of a late challenge, although the ball was won. Ellen White was taken out as well.
I think it was a fair challenge. It might have just been a little bit of afters once the ball had actually been won. Yeah.
Alex Greenwood. Yeah, I think you're right. The ball was won, wasn't it? But a bit of a follow through on Ellen White.
I tell you what, though, friend Kirby, decision making and weight of pass has been top draw tonight. She's driving through with pace. It's good to see her back looking really, really sharp, and then a decision making to when to release the pass for the likes of Ellen White has been on the money.
She's been outstanding since the season started, since the Community Shield. I think there was a bit of doubt about how she would perform given what she's been through. It would be understandable to see her ease herself back in, although I'm sure Chelsea have helped her do that. But she's been absolutely brilliant.
I think lockdown helped her probably to refocus and get back up to speed in a positive way for her, as she's mentioned. And obviously with Chelsea supporting her and coming into England now, them still supporting her, that will give her as an individual confidence to just play freely and get back up to her standard.
Here is Kirby. You can see her confidence coming back as well, being shepherded by 2 opposition players. And she was called up to the England squads when she was playing in the second tier. Got one of those players on the bench for the away team, Rinsola Babajide, who is playing for Liverpool at the moment. So it just shows that not necessarily cut off if you're not playing in the Women's Super League or a top European league. Here is Ellen White, held by the goalkeeper. Grimwood's ball cut out. And the early ball towards Ellen White, straight through to the goalkeeper. Long ball over the top. A couple of players onto it, and that's good anticipation from McKeever. This was the foul again. And all friends. It's Chloe Kelly, now of Manchester City, to her teammate Kira Walsh. Kelly's cross, too close to the goalkeeper once again. Anything you're seeing, Karen, so far that we didn't see in the first half from the red team in particular after their little chat with Phil Neville at half-time?
I think again that you just saw when the red team get numbers, just watching this opportunity.
For Beth England, and that's an excellent save by McKeever. Rachel Daly didn't quite fall for her. Bit of a defensive error from the white team. The red team didn't capitalise. Oh, the referee's going to have to stop this. Head injury, and Steph Horton is down. Just slipped as she cleared the ball. Steph Horton, hopefully she'll be okay. Just in treatment. Bit of a mistake here, the back line.
I think it was just a difficult one. It was spinning and coming down quite slow. I think Bethel needed it to see. It just was late coming down, and she went to side foot it. It was a good save in the end, but again, Beth hasn't had that much pre-season time. She's had a couple of injuries, and this is probably a good opportunity for minutes. I think the more time she gets on the field, the more clinical she'll get, and back to perhaps her old self from last season, where she perhaps might have buried that.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely agree with that. I think we expect so much of Beth England now on the back of the season she had last year, which was an incredible season. But yeah, like Kaz said, she hasn't played maybe as many minutes as what the other girls have played or what she would have liked to have played, so it will take time, and I think I know that firsthand as well, so I'm on Beth's side here.
She's a quality player, and she's caused problems tonight already, and she's got a massive future for England, and a massive player for Chelsea. So but players just need fitness and need time, and again, she'll be happy to get minutes, and hopefully she goes back to Chelsea fit and healthy and then kicks on another gear.
Like Steph Horton will be okay. Next up domestically, by the way, is the FA Women's Cup. And Chelsea play Everton. Arsenal Spurs. Leicester against Manchester City, and Brighton Birmingham are the quarter-finals from last season. And that will be concluded. The final on the 31st of October at Wembley. One back well, and the white team have numbers forward here. It's Fran Kirby, unselfishly trying to tee up Beth Mead, who has to turn away from goal. Christensen. That's good defending from Rachel Daly. Well, he wanted a foul, didn't come. And Hampton does well.
Just thinking there, could Fran Kirby have hit the target, had a shot? You know, she's probably too selfless in that situation. She's driving, she's through, touch at your feet, bang, have a shot. Because she's got a wonderful strike. I spoke about how clinical she is in the final third earlier. She's just getting her confidence perhaps back now. She's been out for a long time, but you might see moving forward there, the more she plays, the confidence comes back, she'll be striking that ball.
I was waiting for it. I thought she was actually going to release the trigger there, especially after her goal in the last WSL game. Obviously, she hit it, and I mean, the keeper probably should have done better in that game, but I thought there she was actually going to release a shot, and like Kaz said, she's got the quality to find the net there.
Christensen rides the challenge. Daly onside. Ellen White trying to get in for the hat-trick. Christensen lays it off. Now here's Fran Kirby. Closed down very quickly. Kirby's chip out of play.
So nice to see Fran, you know, happy, healthy, playing well. Yeah, she's playing with her. She's such a joy to play with and to connect within that final third. For me, I'm just really, really happy because I know what she's been through the last 18 months. So it's like a new player for Chelsea, a new signing for club and potentially for country as well.
Yeah, because Chelsea need more signings, don't they, Kaz?
Hey, look, I know I used to play for them, but I'm a neutral in this. But you know, the WSL now, teams aren't just in the league aren't just going for the WSL. They want the Champions League, and to do that, you know, we both saw it. Likes of Lyon, you know, all the top teams have massive squads, players that can play multiple positions, and they're exceptionally talented. And it's now amazing to see that WSL is bringing those calibre of players in, and our English players, you know, are going to have to step up.
You just see the times that we're living in a sanitizer break, and Millie Turner on for Grace Fisk, or for Abby McManus, I should say. And it looks like Russo's come off as well. There's Rinsola Babajide, who is playing in the Championship with Liverpool at the moment. A real talent who's just waiting to catch light. Niamh Charles looks like she's taking a rest for a very productive first half. Just see if that's a straight swap, or maybe a change of system for the red team. Here is Scott. Jira Walsh to Kelly. England. Counter-attack opportunity here for the home side. Kirby. Nobbs. Fran Kirby. Oh, and over the bar. Izzy Christensen. Yeah, she looks disappointed, and she probably should be. Wonderful play, though.
I think Fran Kirby's got to hit the target there. Again, that position, bottom of the corner, that should be a goal. And then Izzy ghosting in what she does best, but she's got to hit the target as well. She would know she was shaking her head because the quality of player that she is, she'll be disappointed with that. But really good play from the white team.
Really nice stuff from the home side. Dan played much against Rinsola Babajide, someone you know much about? Or she's yet to really get a lot of minutes in the top tier, hasn't she? She's spent a lot of time in the Championship.
Yeah, but she was with Liverpool last year when they was in the WSL 1. I'm not sure how much she actually played with them, but she's obviously been with the England youth setup. So, you know, she'll be used to sort of being in the international setting. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see or to hear how she's actually got on camp. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she fits in this formation.
Here is Kirby once again laying it off for Stokes this time. Good possession from the white team. Kirby once again. Nobbs. To Mead. That's good defending. Cleared away by Georgia Stanway. So the white team just turned up the pressure a little bit. Here's Kirby and a close range header. And it's 3-0.
That's a great ball in.
Ella Toone of Manchester United on the score sheet. And Fran Kirby pulling the strings once again.
Yeah, look, it's a great ball in over the top. I think was that Ella's maybe first touch.
Think so.
That's what she's all about. A really clever number 10 player. She did well, kept it down. As you teach your kids, I think in the Wildcats, head it down, gives a goalkeeper a problem. But you see the game's really opening up now. Fran Kirby in particular, Izzy Christensen, Jordan Nobbs are really starting to work the ball, moving it 1 and 2 touch. And I think the familiarity of the formation, the fluidity that they're playing is really causing problems for the red team. And it's been a clinical performance, I would say, from the white team as well.
It has been. I think the whites have, obviously they started the game in the first half more brightly, I would say, and I'd say they've come out the second half even sharper. The Reds haven't really got going. Haven't really created it much in the second half, other than that mistake that the whites made at the back with Beth England having a shot on goal. Other than that, it has been all right for me.
I think the difference between both teams is actually Fran Kirby, if I'm honest. You know, that you talk about in football, you need match winners. You need a bit of individual brilliance, and Fran has been a standout player tonight for me. Being bold, the only criticism I have is be a bit more selfish, Fran. When you're in that 18-yard box, pull the trigger. Don't be that assister, be that match winner that gets the goals. A bit like Kelly Smith, you can do both.
I think the difference between the whites and the Reds so far is the whites are actually playing through midfield a lot, and obviously Fran is in the middle of the pitch, probably creating a lot with Izzy Christensen, Jordan Nobbs. But with the Reds, I feel like they're lacking that sort of intricate play through the middle.
Here is Kirby once again. Reds get it away. A special moment for Ella Toone. Her first call-up to the senior side, another one who's represented England up to under 21 level. I was going to ask, that must make things a lot easier when you're coming into the senior setup. A lot of these youngsters who've come up through the age groups.
Yeah, that you know the culture. You go in, it's probably more for me. It's still daunting as a young player going into a senior setup. It's like your first day at school, really. Where do you sit? Where do you go? But they'll know St George's Park. They know systems. They know the staff. But I was just looking at Grace Fisk. I think she's been brilliant as well. Another young player tonight for the white team. Really competent, comfortable. Very impressive. I think the young players have done a really good job tonight at expressing themselves.
It's been interesting to see Grace Fisk actually in the centre-half role, because for West Ham I've seen her play fullback, and I actually think she's actually a lot more comfortable in the centre half position. So maybe that's not giving West Ham any hinters, but you know, seeing her perform today in the centre half position, she looks like she's really dominated and taken charge and lead there.
Meads cross towards Ellen White. Good challenge by Demi Stokes. Bit of time to pick out the cross towards Christensen, but just over her head. Grace Fisk is another one who has spent time in the United States. We should mention all this excitement with the US women's national team players coming to the Women's Super League. Good thing. We're excited to see them all in action once they're all here. We've seen a couple for Manchester City already, haven't we?
I mean, I think it's a positive thing that there's loads of different foreign players that are wanting to come over and play in the English FAWSL. I think that's just credit to the league itself that we can now attract these big name players. It'll be interesting to see how all of these players settle into their respective teams, but do you know what, it makes it so much more competitive. And going into games, it's not guaranteed who's actually going to pick up the 3 points or take anything from the game.
And Karen, if we're thinking of a positive spin with them coming, a lot of exposure, and also the players, some of the English players can learn from them, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of flipped it. I went and played in the States and I learned to be more physical, learned about their winning mentality. So I think it's a good one for the English players to learn, but you need to step up and play and make sure that the English players are playing every week. We obviously embrace other internationals coming and really taking our league to the next level, but we really need our English players to make sure they're playing on a regular basis, week in, week out, and I think it's only great, and the different styles of play and culture is only going to enhance them.
Vantage point, different one for the analyst. Here's Babajide. Walsh trying to thread the ball through. The red team 3 goals down. Can't find a way through on this occasion. Here's Beth Mead. Cut out by Babajide. Walsh. To Stanway. Now England. Swings the cross in. Remember, in addition to this match, you can watch all 132 Barclays FA Women's Super League games live on the FA Player throughout this season. Here is Babajide. Cross put behind by Millie Turner. A Manchester United player who's been called up. Steph Horton trying to rise highest. Into the final 10 minutes, St George's Park. Don't worry, and Karen and Dan have just gone a bit quiet because they've been asked to nominate 4 players for the BT Player of the Match, and they've been taking it very seriously.
Well, Dan's obviously with the white team. She picked 11 players, so I had to kind of be like, hold on a minute, come on. To be fair, the white team have been very good tonight, and some very good standout performances.
That'll be on Twitter very shortly, at Lionesses. And we want you to vote on who you think should be the player of the match. I believe she's one of them. We've mentioned her one or two times, Fran Kirby. But there should be 4 candidates. So that's at Lionesses on Twitter. You can vote who you think's been the best player out of the 4 nominated from Dan or Karen. It's a heavy challenge by Jordan Nobbs on Kira Walsh. What's been lacking, do you think, Karen, for this red team?
I think the white team have dominated in midfield, so I think that's where red teams have struggled, and I'm not sure they've kind of gelled in that final third. I really do believe, and I've said it a lot, I do think the system takes a lot of time, and also this system relies on individuals being in the right position. It's a very bespoke system, and so you have to get the personnel right in order to make it work, and maybe the red team haven't quite got that. I know it sounds a bit weird, but if you stole a couple of the white players, might have fitted into from the white team, they might have fitted into the system a little bit more better.
Here is Babajide. Oh, and so nearly an own goal. Whipped the cross in. And just came off Fisk, off the post. Some direct running from Babajide. We should also mention that Lottie Wobben-Moy has snuck on for the away team, number 12. She has just re-signed at Arsenal.
Yeah, Lotta, I've played with Lotta. Yeah, it's a great thing for her to return to Arsenal.
Oh, chance. Excellent save and put wide by Beth England. Steph Horton, I think, with the initial header. It's another good save from McKeever.
That's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate for Beth. That goal would have given her massive confidence. Great ball in from Chloe Kelly. Steph done really well to keep her eye on it. Beth unfortunately just dragged the shot wide again with her weaker foot, but what we've seen of her, she doesn't really have a weaker foot, so that's actually a really bad miss for Beth, and she'll probably say the same.
She's had a good game, hasn't she, Sandy McKeever? I think she's on your list as well, Karen, I think.
She's been quality. For a young player, she looks composed. She doesn't look out of place being a senior international, and I think she's really steadied that back line, and she's got an aura about her, and that's what you want as a goalkeeper. And when you need them to make top saves, she's done that tonight, and and also been very good in possession as well, playing out from the back.
22 years old, no senior caps yet, but won the Golden Glove at the Under-20 World Cup in 2018. It's a real prospect for England. The red team having a spell. Beth England wins a corner. G-Day winding up for the strike. Here is Wadden-Moy. England feeding Walsh.
That's been the difference between the two sides. The red team have had 2, 3 golden opportunities. Let's come to Kira Walsh. Again, you have to be hitting the target. I'm being critical tonight, but if England are to progress and get from a semi-final to a final, those chances that the red team have missed will cost you in big tournaments, and they've got to be more clinical.
Millie Bright, and the glancing header from Beth England.
We're obviously into the last 5 minutes of the game now, so I wonder if the Whites are quite content with the 3-0 or if it is the Reds actually turning the game on its head.
Yeah, they seem to be pushing forward a little bit more. Here is Kirby. Once again, the perfect weight on the pass. Christensen gets there. Now Nobbs. Kirby. Nicely done by Stokes. It's Jordan Nobbs. Oh, off the bar. Ellen White's there. Can't quite get the power on that, but Jordan Nobbs, we know she's got that in her locker, don't we, Dan?
Yeah, she loves a long distance shot. We've seen those go top corner on many occasions, so she's well within her rights to have a pop there.
I think that's good to see from Jordan on the base of confidence. You know, I haven't seen probably that in a long time, where she takes a touch out of foot and hits it since her injury. So it's really good to see her coming back. And I thought her and Easing Christensen have been superb, and Fran, and that midfield three of the White team have been really good tonight. And I think Jordan seems to be getting back to her best, which is really pleasing.
Yeah, obviously on the back of a serious knee injury, which I've also undergone as well. It does take quite a while to get back up to your top speed or your touches back, but yeah, no, it's pleasing to see. Obviously, playing in games like this and getting touches on the ball, like you see her there, she's always all over the place. So that'll help her going back into Arsenal now.
Here is Ella Toon, the third goal. Right team now, Christensen. Wants to ask Dan as well on that. Is it also a mentality thing as well? You kind of have to trust your knee again. I mean, how was it for you when you came back, and especially that first game against Arsenal for Reading? Did you completely trust in what your body could do?
Yeah, I mean, the knee technically is strong way before the first game. It's just that mental aspect of it in believing in yourself and sort of throwing your body around and sort of getting in tackles and getting back up after a tackle, and sort of ticking it off the list. But no, it's a very, very long game, a long wait. Obviously in the back of 2 injuries now, it could just happen to anybody. You can't really go in pessimistic into games or into a challenge, because if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. So you've just got to believe in yourself and just play your normal game.
Good run from Babajide. This is her bread and butter. Seen her do this a number of times. Nice option for England to have, someone who's direct.
And that's probably what you could say they was missing in the first half, the red team. Was one of their wing backs or wider players actually getting at the white defence. So that is probably what they did lack, and obviously it's come a bit too late now, but it'll be nice for Rinsola just to get out there and sort of get her legs going.
Into the final few seconds. It has been a comfortable victory in terms of the scoreline anyway for the home side. The away side have been a little bit wasteful. Maybe they'll have one more chance to get themselves on the score sheet. Babajide once again. It's good play by Esme Morgan. And unsurprisingly, we've all talked her up. There is your BT player of the match, Fran Kirby.
Kaz will be happy with that one.
You can't really argue, can you?
I know, I feel bad for Ellen White. She's scored 2 goals tonight, and again, if you're talking tournament football, someone comes away and scores 2 goals in a World Cup final, semi-final, you go, how has she not got man of the match? But Fran Kirby has been superb, and it's just so good to see her back, and she has been a massive difference between the both sides tonight.
Can I ask who came a close second?
No, you can't.
I think that's a no. Oh, I've been told that Ellen White did come second, so there you go. A small consolation for her, but I think she'll be happy with her 2 goals. Oh, Beth England's done well, stuck to her task, plays in Kira Walsh, and another corner kick. Will they have time to take it? I think the referee might just allow them to take this one. Oh, and McKeever was scrambling there, nearly went straight in. Oh, and Babajide goes down. She wants a penalty. Oh, what do we think?
I think it was.
Big appeals. Let's have a look. Oh,
that's a pen for me.
If it's not a pen, it should be a corner then, right?
Either way, maybe the ref wants to get home.
There it is. A really good run out for both of these England sides in this 11v11 training game, but really competitive, and it has been won by the home side in the white, thanks to a double from Ellen White and a second half close range header from Ella Toon. Let's get the final thoughts of our commentary team today. First of all, Dan, what did you make of that, especially the length of time it's been between meetings for this England team?
I think there's a lot of positives that can be taken, especially from the home team performance. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do with the formation and the setup of the red team, but obviously this was a great opportunity for the girls actually to do it and to see it, because you can train it all you like, but this was, although it wasn't an official game, it's more real. So I mean, there's a lot of positives to take from it. The girls will go back to their clubs now, and we'll see what happens in the next camp.
A good exercise though, Karen, for this side.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as going, I've seen 26 players I think were used probably tonight. Really good performances, and you look at the pool that England have got and the availability that Phil Neville's can pick from. I think that's exciting. Some really good individual performances. I think if you take formations aside, because it's just trial and error, but individually good performances from young players, senior players stepped up as well. So injured players that haven't featured for a long time coming back and performing very well. I think you'd be very, very happy with a competitive 70 minutes there.
What do you think Phil Neville's saying? He's gathered them all together there. I mean, I suppose, will they go through this? Will they dissect this?
I wouldn't have thought too much now, but he seems to be getting into it. I think he'll be talking more about mentality and the differences, and the differences is 2 18-yard boxes from tonight, I think. And the red team had plenty of chances and weren't clinical and didn't take them, and the white team dominated in midfield and then took their chances in the other 18-yard box. And that's a difference between gold and silver potentially, or getting yourself from a semi-final to a final. And this is the gaps and the areas that we need to keep moving forward in.
That is the aim, and as the sun goes down at St George's Park, we'll leave Phil Neville to impart his words of wisdom on this England side. My thanks to Danielle Carter and Karen Carney for joining me this evening for commentary of this 11v11 training game live from St George's Park. England home 3, England away 0. The score, no matter what happened though, England won. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.